Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome back to Crime in Sports.
Yay.
I am James Pietragallo here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Nice to have you.
Nice to have you. I hope you enjoyed Lenny Dykstra as much as we did.
Wasn't he great?
Hard not to kind of like the guy a little bit, isn't it?
I kind of want to hang out with him.
You kind of want to go, yeah, you're like, you know, I don't want to invest any money with him, but I think maybe he'd be a good time for a weekend to chill with and, you know, take some
Vegas trip.
Take some private flights on other people's credit cards. It'd be a good time. But tonight, totally different thing.
So exciting.
This is a great thing, guys. And people are going to think it's a weightlifter, and it's a female weightlifter. The people are going to go, I don't want to hear a female. Trust us, okay? This is as good as anything.
If you listen to the Howard Stern show and like Nicole Bass, you're going to love Sally McNeil.
I don't know anything about that, but this is amazing. This is incredible. She is a character, if nothing else.
Sure.
The story is interesting, and it's going to be fun. So buckle up.
Strap in.
Strap in. Before we get started, just want to remind you guys, please rate, review on iTunes.
Yeah.
It means a lot to us, so please get on there. I know it's kind of a pain in the ass, but it takes like a minute, and it helps us out tremendously. So if you enjoy it, please do that for us. Also, follow us on Twitter at Crime and Sports.
Yeah.
crimeinsports@gmail.com if you want to drop us a line. Yeah. Facebook, Crime and Sports, Facebook.com.
Reviews and rating. Be honest. If you think it's a 3-star, whatever, that's fine. Everybody's been so nice.
It helps.
Seeing those words though of people saying such sweet things it really makes this worth it to investigate so deep on these fucking people.
Thank you, really.
It's really great.
We do go deep, and tonight we're going to go deep on a woman named Sally McNeil. Okay? Killer Sally, as she went by. Sally McNeil, as you'll find out, it gets really twisted. So let's get into Sally McNeil right away. Now, there is not a lot on Sally's early life out there, and when
too bad.
It's wild, because when you're like, page 8 on a Google search and you're still not finding it, you're going, okay, this might not exist anywhere. I was finding Sally McNeil's on Ancestry.com, and I'm like, I don't think she was born in 1793, so this isn't going to work out. It was very difficult. But we found basically Sally McNeil started out, she's from Allentown, Pennsylvania. All right. That we do know.
Isn't that where Stucca killed what's-her-face?
It's the same
That's
area.
So funny.
It's the same area. So this is producing some muscled-up, steroid-ridden, psychotic people over here. So this did not happen in Allentown, though. So let's not blame Pennsylvania completely. La Jolla is going to take a brunt of this from people. So anyway, Sally McNeil, she married. She was married before she married Ray McNeil.
All right.
She was married before that. She was married, and she was Sally Loudon at that point. Her maiden name is Dempsey. Mm-hmm. That's her first name, Sally Dempsey.
Very fitting.
So exactly, as she says later on, she brings that up. Actually,
does she?
Yes, she does in a prison interview, which is a shocker. She's in prison, but we'll get to that because that's even an adventure. It's amazing. So she was married. She had 2 children. Mm-hmm. Actually, she had 3 children. One of which she gave up for adoption for some reason. Not sure how that happened.
Was that her third one or second one?
They don't say. Just say she had 3. She kept 2. Right. The other one she cast out. I don't know if she didn't like the color of his hair.
She's such a lunatic. It would be awesome if it was her 3rd kid and she's like, I just can't do it anymore.
I can't do it anymore. Take this fucking kid away from me. Hopefully it was a first kid, I guess. That's sort of maybe it was the middle kid.
That'd be great too.
Eliminate the middle child
Anything
syndrome.
But the first would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be great. There's a story behind that. You know what I mean? She had a Shantina, a daughter, in 1984, and then John in 1986. Mm-hmm. The one put up for adoption, which is funny as hell.
She can't choose on a name. She's like Shannon or Christina Fuck it,
Yeah,
Shantina.
Shantina,
So
let's
weird.
do it. Yeah, and she's white also,
Yeah,
which is another.
incredibly
it's odd.
white.
Yeah, she's very white, Sally McNeil.
Very Nordic.
Not only is this one white, she's a white woman. We've had
This is
plenty
the
of white
first,
guys,
yeah.
but this is our first woman. We're excited about this. She's divorced from her first husband. It was called 4 Stormy Years, basically, and he has some quotes that are going to come back that we'll get into later about her. This was an interesting relationship. She is a fiery one. Her relationships aren't like calm give and takes. It's and even with the abuse, because spoiler alert, there's abuse with a jacked up, roided up bodybuilder that she's married to later. But even with that abuse, it's not like OJ and Nicole Brown where he like was beating the crap out of her and she was crying for help on 911.
And then they go to Aspen. And
these two were fighting
constantly.
Like she was a fighter too. It seems like based on all accounts.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Nobody knows for sure, but based
She
on all
throws
accounts,
punches too.
These two fought. It was an uneven fight, as we'll get into also as we get into his size. But anyway, so she marries Ray McNeil in 1987. Ray McNeil is our unfortunate victim here. He's a bodybuilder. They're both in the Marine Corps at the time.
All right.
Together. They were stationed together in Okinawa. They lived off base together for a year, which in a minute I'll tell you all about that little.
Do you have dimensions on Ray? Size-wise?
Ray is 6'4", 260 pounds.
Jesus.
Ray is a monster, and you can see every last muscle, vein. He is jacked like when Stewie on Family Guy went on roids. That's what he looks like, only black and 6'4". And he had, from what I understand and what people say in the bodybuilding world, because I went deep in bodybuilding website message boards on this to see what the bodybuilders were saying.
James
about
is reading
this.
Men's Health.
I was reading
Index.
Flex. You have no idea how deep I got you. This is insane. So, but yeah, he apparently wore a bad toupee was the thing.
Boy.
So, and they said it looked like an Al Sharpton toupee at the time back in the day. I don't know. So basically,
Don King. That's hilarious.
apparently the fighting started right away with Ray and Sally McNeil.
Yeah.
She says that Ray beat her up on the 3rd day of their marriage, which is getting right out of the gate. I mean, that's
Get done with the honeymoon and fucking round one. Let's go.
not a horse that starts on the back end. That's right. He's trying
right
to go
out the gate.
Wire to wire.
He is a thoroughbred.
Apparently, the warrant officer in the Marine Corps that was in charge of Sally told Ray that he shouldn't have married her, called her used goods.
Oh, boy.
And so, in accordance, Ray beat her unmercifully because she dated 2 other guys in the Marine Corps before they met. Not while they were together, before they met. So that warrants an unmerciful beating, obviously.
And they were already married at this point?
That was 3rd day of marriage.
3rd day of marriage.
3rd day of marriage.
And
That's
now
the honeymoon.
Now he finds out that she's used goods, and now he wants to fight her?
That's the honeymoon.
Jesus
3rd day of
Christ.
marriage. But I guess if there's a warrant officer in your honeymoon,
you're
it's
still
not exactly
you're
a
still in
honeymoon.
Hawaii, for Pete's sake.
You're still in the Marines. They lived off base in Okinawa for a year together. She claims this was the worst time. Claims over 52 beatings.
Wow.
The way she puts it, while in Okinawa.
Once a week.
Once a week. I think that's an estimate.
Yeah.
One time, because he wanted her to write down a list of men she'd been with, and she refused, so he choked her a lot. So much that she had spasms at one point.
That's not information you want anyway, man. Why are you beating that out of her?
I don't know. You don't want that to begin with.
You don't want that information anyhow.
Yeah.
And he's going to do it
the
forcefully?
She ran away from him, hid in the bushes in a sports bra and shorts, and she said there's like poisonous snakes in Okinawa out there, but she was more scared of Ray at the time. Ray then told her that he was on steroids, because he was on a lot of steroids.
Surprise.
Like a fucking ton of steroids.
Yeah.
Like, this guy makes Snuka look like an amateur with the steroids. This guy, when he died, he was a top 20 in his weight class bodybuilder.
Wow.
In the country.
World.
In the world, in the country,
Right.
in something. He's
Right.
a fucking enormous guy.
Everything that happens in the U.S., we say it's in the world.
It's probably
I guess
in the world.
He's probably better than any Asian.
I don't
bodybuilds.
think there's a Korean guy,
Right.
just a 260-pound Korean guy jacked to the moon.
Probably more jacked than anybody in Guam.
I would assume so. So we're going to go, and now it's still the U.S., so fuck that. Guam's a territory. They vote in primaries. Eat a dick, Guam. So anyway, sorry if you're in Guam. So Ray told her he was on roids, and he didn't know what he did. He had no idea. Now, she claims this was her introduction to steroids. She said she knew nothing about steroids, didn't know he was on steroids.
Right.
I don't care if it's 1987. I don't care if it's 1947. If you look at that guy, you go, he's doing something different than other humans.
I can see why she'd want to get into steroids, though, to level that playing field for the sake of the next boxing match that she has to endure in her living room.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah. The claims are amazing here with the steroid. Also, too, claims that Ray, while in Okinawa, threw her out of a bathtub and broke her toe. Also punched her, broke her nose, and attacked her at one time because they got in a big fight because he told her, your shoulders are not developed enough. And this was a huge fight. She was like, listen, he told her, your shoulders aren't developed enough, so I am going to beat the living horse shit out of you. Because
that ought to make him bigger.
That'll make him bigger. She claimed she had a shoulder injury and she couldn't train it as hard.
I can imagine.
Didn't think she said too she didn't think she could get anybody else, so she didn't want to leave him at the time.
Battered wife syndrome.
That's what she says.
Yeah.
And battered wife syndrome comes in later on in the trial also. With her appeal and everything else, which we'll get into. This is some good shit coming up here. This is some good shit because this is fun. This is like a Making the Murderer, except she's less of a piece of shit than Stephen Avery. So I don't care if you think Stephen Avery's innocent or not. That dude's a fucking scumbag.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's guilty, so fuck off. He's guilty, and the cops planted shit.
He's guilty.
Everybody's guilty.
He probably murdered her, and then the cops were like, fuck it, we got to make sure that we got him. So let's just put more shit in there.
Everybody's an asshole. Let's sell Wisconsin. Let's sell them to the highest bidder. Minnesota, your job to make cheese now. Moving on. Fucking claims Ray broke her ribs and punctured her lung at one point. She says she has military records to prove the injury. She, of course, did not say how that happened with those people.
Imagine it was a fist.
I would think so. Ray would just tell her, I don't know what I'm doing. It's the steroids. I go into these rages, blah, blah, blah.
That's amazing.
Also claims Ray at one point saw her at work talking to another guy. So just talking to another guy. And so when they got home, he threw her across the room, broke her tailbone. She says she's still limping around today from that.
Every tiny bone in her body is broken.
Everything, yeah.
I love it.
Pinky, tailbone, it's everywhere.
Her toe.
So now, 1990, Sally is... We've said all these beatings that Ray gives. Sally is not a demure flower. Let's say that, because we're going to get into some things that happen with Sally that have nothing to fucking do with Ray.
She finally cut weight and got into his weight class, and she's ready to go now, too.
Yeah, she is brutal. So anyway, 1990 rolls around. She is demoted in the Marine Corps and not allowed to re-enlist.
Wow.
They were like, no thanks. Now, you're a big jacked up girl that I assume would be a good Marine.
I'd love her defending my freedom.
And she is too fucking crazy to kill. Marines just kill people. That's what they want to do.
Yeah, that's their job.
They don't build shit.
No.
They kill people.
Right.
They said, you're a little too crazy to kill people for us. So that's an interesting thing here. 1990, she starts doing, this is interesting here, she starts doing private wrestling sessions.
Like in her
videos.
house.
It's called apartment wrestling, and it's like this sleazy thing from back in the day. If you bought like wrestling magazines in the 80s, there's still like 2 pages in the back for ads of videos of apartment wrestling.
Right.
It was like weird, like looked like it was from the 70s.
Right.
As a kid, I was like, what the fuck is that? And it was like, it looked like middle-aged women.
Like every town has that little box on the corner that has like the creepy shit that goes on in town.
Exactly.
I think ours is called The Beat or something like that.
It's like the face-sitting category in a porno, except big muscle, jacked up women.
It's Backpage.com for bodybuilders.
Yeah, called herself Killer McNeil. Had a video called Time to Die. So foreshadowing.
Killer McNeil, Time to Die.
But this money allowed Ray to leave the Marines, not have to re-enlist, and to start in competitions in bodybuilding. Sure. Also, Sally, while in the Marines, was won like the top physique competition in her weight class like 2 years in a row or something. So Sally
hot as shit.
was getting into this. I found this video of her, like an ad. I don't even know if it was an ad. It was just like a web page. It looked like it was from 1999 maybe. And I couldn't get a hold of the webmaster. I really tried to dig deep, but it was for a video of her doing a mixed wrestling match. And it looked like it was in a ring. This wasn't in an apartment.
Right.
With against a guy named Dave Rivas, who was a 6'4", 210 black dude. and she was 5'3", 162.
Wow.
And there is not an ounce of fat. I'm talking solid muscle, as you know.
And he's like a telephone worker, and he wants to.
But no, he was like a muscled up guy. Right. So he looked like that.
He's just a normal ass guy. What was his name? James Rivas.
Dave Rivas.
Dave Rivas.
And there's pictures of her just like sitting on him, like with his legs twisted, and he looks like he's enjoying it, which is creepy.
He's got a boner.
These are basically like these guys kind of like homemade pornos, sort of. Here's a muscle chick gonna beat me up and whatever their weird fantasy is.
It's like how people like shove their junk through a particle board and have a girl on the other side with boxing gloves, and they like speed bag your nutsack.
It's a similar thing, apparently. Yeah.
Or those high heel videos where people get their nuts stomped.
Now high heel videos.
You've seen those?
I didn't know that was
awesome. They're incredible.
A genre of video.
People get their sack stomped by chicks in high heels.
Pumped about that.
It's fucking hysterical.
We're learning a lot about Jimmy
I can't believe people do that
Whisman
shit.
today.
It's so awesome.
I thought I knew you. I honestly did. I didn't realize you were into high heel nut stomping videos. So, 1990, still, they're at a bodybuilding competition. I believe this was one of Ray's competitions, and there was a woman there who she believed had an affair with Ray. So she beat the living hell out of her, jumped on her, beat her until she was dragged off of her by security and removed from the building.
So fucking hot.
Beat her so badly and so publicly that the committee, whatever the governing body of bodybuilding professionals is, suspends her for 1 year from competition or even being near the fucking place.
If there was a videotape of that on YouTube, that shit is viral tomorrow.
I'm telling you, the muscled up, because if you saw her, it's the truth. 1991, he starts doing really well. He wins his pro card, which I guess it's like winning your golf pro card, I guess, at the 1991 North American Championships. Entered in 10 pro shows in 93. He placed second at the Niagara Pro, which I guess moved him on to the Olympia competition, which I guess would be Mr. Olympia, and he was 15th out of 22 at the Olympia.
Wow.
Which, I mean, for normal, that's impressive. This guy's not like some schlub who's like lifting weights in the basement. He is a highly steroided machine, and it
there
shows.
Are 14 Arnold Schwarzeneggers that are better at bodybuilding than him. That's basically it.
Yeah, he's a big guy too. Jesus. Sally said she left him 3 different times, and he'd follow her to new addresses.
I love it.
Said when all this happened, the killing, said she was preparing to move back east to her hometown, but this completely contradicts some other stuff that happened. So I don't know if that was true.
Everybody's done that. Follow the chick around.
Now Sally's criminal history builds. We're still in 1990. She's arrested for pulling a pistol on her ex-husband and smashing his car windows with a crowbar.
I love it.
That's the kind of chick we're dealing with. She should be making like country music videos. Because that's some...
She should be the star of Carrie Underwood's video.
That's crazy.
Bashing that truck in.
She
should be the one in the video.
Those crazy bitches are
wearing
doing.
Some Wranglers and a fucking halter top.
I don't think there's Wranglers that would fit this lady's giant thighs.
Wearing some man's fucking Wranglers.
I mean, this is crazy. So, I mean, she pulled a pistol on him, first of all. And when you pull guns on people, that's no joke.
That's fucking
first
serious.
of all, that's serious. And then beats his car windows out. This is like, isn't this what like Jim Brown or somebody got in trouble for doing to his wife or something? Like, this is hardcore crazy. So
she's got a gun and a crowbar. Like, she's got like a holster or some shit.
That's what I mean. Yeah, wielding one in each hand. Maybe she's holding the gun on him while beating his car windows out. Don't come near me. I'm not finished with your car windows. I know you just got tints. That's why I'm doing it. So this days later, like 2 weeks later, not even like days later, Ray apparently is trying to leave her. So she dropped a 70-pound weight on his car from a balcony.
The second fucking story of her house.
Romeo. Yeah. Let me drop this weight on your fucking car.
That's her version of who's the guy with the boombox in the 80s song?
Yeah, John Cusack.
John Cusack.
Yeah, so
her version is a 70-pound barbell from the fucking second
tossing
story.
It down.
She puts it into his fucking front seat.
Car. What does that do?
That's awesome.
That crushes your roof.
Yeah, from 20 feet in the air.
Imagine his reaction. I could only think it would be, oh shit, that bitch is crazy. Oh my God. And then backing up as fast as possible. Either that or he went in and beat the shit out of her because that's a
He's got an Everlast through his fucking car.
Now he's got a reason. So 1990, we're still in. The police are called to her home to investigate the well-being of her children.
Good call.
And they have to spray mace on her to subdue her because she goes batshit.
I'll bet it was
her.
a lot of mace.
It's crazy. So now their husband testified too. The ex-husband Loudon testified that she went, quote, unhinged when she started bodybuilding. She started competing in bodybuilding. That's when she snapped. So I'm assuming
she's hitting cycles.
She was hitting cycles, and this is before she was married. So I think the whole I didn't know anything about bullshit. So yeah, let's be honest here. So I'm going to call bullshit on that. Glad that the courts can do whatever they want. Crime and sports. Yeah, we will make the tough calls. I'm sorry, we're not going to.
Based on behavior and historical evidence, I'm going to go with bullshit.
Bullshit. So now we get to 1993. Sally is still doing her thing. She's back home in Allentown, Pennsylvania, home visiting. Who knows? Maybe she had some kind of high school reunion, which I don't know. Well, maybe not. But anyway, she's in a bar. She starts dancing on the bar because
that's a heavy-duty bar.
Hot, and that's a heavy-duty bar, and that's a big bitch to be dancing on the bar, like a strong one.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to approach her.
No.
Bouncer, probably against his better judgment.
Can you imagine?
Oh, gee, I got to get her off the bar? Okay, great.
Why didn't I go to college?
Yeah, Christ almighty. Man, why didn't I hit that cycle when the guy in the gym offered it to me? So he goes over, says, can you please get down off the bar? She kicks him in the face 3 times.
Of course she does.
So she's a good sport. She's a
three times. He didn't even go down on the first one.
Whap, whap, whap.
It's pretty tough, too.
I'm picturing like Jennifer Grey and Ferris Bueller when she kicks the principal. Pop, pop, pop. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Except from a really big woman.
From up high coming down,
From
too.
up high, kicks him. So 911 is called, obviously. They were like, we need reinforcements. 3 cops respond. Sally threatens to kill everybody, first of all.
And I believe her.
And they did too, because it took all 3 cops to subdue her and drag her from the premises.
Jesus Christ.
This is 1993.
I wish that was on YouTube. I want to see that shit.
Oh, God, I would love to see it.
Where is the surveillance video?
I mean, this whole time, Ray is mentoring her in competitions. And the thing is, too, Ray and her are fighting this whole time. This has never stopped. This whole time, she claims in total it was over 400 beatings that she took. So, I mean, that's a lot of beatings, basically. Yeah. So this is fight, but they're also a couple because it's an abusive relationship. That's how they work. They still function as a couple. Ray's mentoring her at competitions all over the place. 1993, Ray competed in a tour in Europe. And the promoters paid for his flights all around Europe, but they couldn't. Not going to pay for Sally.
No, they got two seats for that big fuck. They're not going to buy 2 more.
So, shit for her giant thighs. So Sally, they couldn't afford to send Sally via airline, so she was taking trains all around Europe. And Ray would meet her at all the stations, and they were like, "Oh, look how sweet it is," everybody said. Right. And then I assume he tried to throw her in front of a train, and she punched him in the groin.
She hit him with the train.
Something. It's horrible. So, 1994, things are the tension's building this whole time, okay?
I can imagine.
This is, I think, this didn't help either. Because Ray, this whole time, too, she says Ray is having affairs all the time. Yeah. Like the woman that she unmercifully beat at the bodybuilding competition. Ray is always having affairs. She's begging him to stop. She says that these women all would eventually dump him after they realized that he was not going to leave Sally. Yeah. Said that one girl had an abortion with his kid because she realized she wasn't going to leave Sally. Right. It's just sordid, the whole thing.
The whole story is so fucked up.
So by 1994, Ray starts taking acting classes.
But she sticks with him.
She sticks with him the whole time.
That is so amazing.
And the kids live with them, too. That's the other thing. The kids live with them the whole time. The kids are witnessing this.
I want to talk to them so bad.
The kids, these poor kids, I think
they're 30 by now.
They're put away. Yeah, Jesus. They're 30 years old. The young one is 30. The other one is 32 years old. So, yeah, they must have stories to tell. And in court, they told stories of they always fought.
I'll bet their lives are so turbulent still.
It's got to be. And also, too, they got cross-examined in court and stuff. It was difficult.
In
the
their
trials,
teenage years.
We're going to get to this, too. Right. The trial, it's not. So, 94.
So, Ray's taking acting classes.
And he starts doing stand-up, starts doing open mics in La Jolla,
So, I'm punching my wife the other night.
So, my wife weighs 260 pounds of pure muscle, right? So every once in a while, I got to jab her a few times. I would make that in a black accent. I think he was pretty black.
However they talk, right?
However, yeah, I'm not
However
gonna go
black
there.
accent is.
But with him, I don't even know where the fuck Ray was from, so
Right.
he could have talked like anything.
How crazy is that like, our first criminal was Ray Caruth. I mean, we could do Ray Lewis and Ray Rice, too. Why are all these fucking psychos named Ray?
There's a lot of
Why
Rays.
is Ray such a popular name in domestic disturbance and violence?
True crime nerds, get on that shit.
Figure it
Do
out.
the research, because I'm doing enough research. I don't have
Stand-up
time for
comics,
that shit.
very popular to have a J.
I'm up to my ass in like soccer players and Ryan Leaf, and I got wrestlers and everything else. I don't have time to look this up.
Stand-up
So you
comics,
guys figure it out and let us
It's very
know.
popular to have the letter J in your name, whether it be Jay Leno or Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, whatever. The letter J is very significant with comics.
Yeah.
For some weird fucking reason, Ray is the same is the
true.
comic equivalent in beating your wife.
It's true. So look it up. crimeinsports@gmail.com.
there it is.
And
Send
let
us
us know.
some facts.
Sally was still competing, competed in 94 in 3 competitions, ranking 5th, 6th, and then she moved up to a heavyweight from a middleweight and ranked 16th in one. She was the main moneymaker at the time. Money was tight. And at this point, we get to the night in question.
You're telling me that bodybuilding doesn't make a lot of money?
No, you would think
Yeah.
oiling yourself up and posing would be super lucrative, but it's not, oddly.
It's not.
So, and neither is open mics for stand-up comedy. We skipped right over that. We got to stop because we're both comics,
Right.
guys, and like to have a 6'4" jacked to the moon, roided up guy get on stage, we would be like, who the fuck is this fucking lunatic? And we would think he was not going to be funny right away because couldn't hold the mic without.
Right. He's
he would
clearly
look like he was
spent too
crushing
much
it.
time doing something other than comedy.
Yeah.
How's he going to be funny?
Plus the roids and everything. You
Christ.
got to be a little loose. Like I'm angry on stage, you know that, but I'm not on steroids.
No.
I'm not going to start strangling someone with a cord.
And God forbid somebody fucking heckles this poor man.
Oh God, that poor them. Never mind this poor man. He's going to be beating the shit out of them and choking them and puncturing their lungs with broken ribs.
Breaking tailbones and shit.
So February 14th, 1995,
Valentine's Day.
How
Such a
sweet.
sweet
You
day.
can hear birds chirping. Hearts are in the air. So Ray McNeil, he's working out at Gold's Gym in Oceanside. He has a competition, of course. What the fuck else is he going to do? He's got, the South Beach Pro Invitational in 4 days in Miami. This is apparently a super big deal.
Big one, yeah.
And he's training for it. He's jacked to the moon. He's on 5 different kinds of steroids, as we'll find out from his toxicology report. An argument breaks out in the kitchen. He comes home after this. It's about 10 o'clock at night. He's cooking chicken. Now, they've said that
Lean proteins.
They've said the argument was over the cost of the chicken. That's been like the kind of it was about the cost of the chicken.
James, how much does chicken cost?
Whatever it is.
It's $1.99 a pound.
That's what I mean. Was she complaining? Did you spend $2.49 a pound? They have it over at the other store for $1.49. Like they have it at Ralph's. It's Callie will say it's for $1.49. I don't think that's. But anyway. She says it's not over chicken. She claims later on that she was in the bathroom putting on makeup because she was going to go out to a nightclub, and he didn't want her to go to a nightclub because he was very jealous. Yeah. So he told her to stop. They got in an argument.
Figured it out. He said, "You're not going out with those chicken heads," and she said, "How much did you spend on that chicken?"
Yeah, $2.49. So argument breaks out in the kitchen. Ray's cooking his chicken. Sally at this point claims that Ray choked her and all of this. Now later on it comes out that there's scratches on her neck.
Of course.
And it comes out Ray's fingernails are too short to scratch. There's none of her DNA under his skin. There is scratches.
Herself.
That's the thing. Now she says the scratches come from her trying to get his hands off of her. Also possible, not sure. But there's no evidence physically that, and they said they didn't see bruising in her neck, but bruising also takes a couple days to come out sometimes. So whatever, we have no idea. Also, too, we don't know when the choking happened because, as we'll see, she goes into her bedroom to load a 12-gauge shotgun.
She has time to cool off putting all those shells in.
That's the thing.
But
with a pistol grip, too. This is an altered shotgun. She gets charged for this also. That'll come in
This is like a goddamn riot gun.
Yeah, she's like in an NWA
bank robber.
video, basically, from 1989.
She's Dr. Dre.
So apparently she shoots Ray in the abdomen in the kitchen.
All right.
He crawls toward the bed, toward the living room, toward the couch, is what the forensic evidence shows later on by the shots, the spatter patterns, all of that. Shoots him in the torso. Says when she shot him in the torso, he lost almost a pound of liver tissue right away.
Wow.
Blown out of him.
All over the chicken.
Tore through his pancreas, tore through his kidney. The chicken is fucking destroyed. There's no recipe for that, to put a little pancreas in there and a half a pound of liver meat. So basically then at this point, she claims that he started crawling toward her.
In a threatening fashion.
In a threatening fashion.
Minus a liver.
If he was 260 pounds, he's now 259 pounds, and that pound was vital. So I don't know if this is true or not, but she apparently goes back in the bedroom, drops the shell off in there, reloads.
Wow.
And they find the shell in the bedroom later on. She says, oh, someone must have kicked it in there, but they said it was a completely mess in there.
Yeah.
They lived like fucking animals and pigs.
Crazy.
And there's no way anybody kicked anything anywhere. It was in the bedroom. They find it right away, too. It's not like it was like later on, like a Stephen Avery
sitting
situation.
on the pillow where it was ejected.
Yeah, she goes in, gets another one, reloads it, comes back out, shoots Ray in the head this time, tears through, rips half his jaw off, tears through his throat.
It's over.
He's fucked, basically. He's still alive, though.
Wow.
He's still alive. He's bleeding profusely.
Because he's on 5 different types of roids.
Kids are in the house, by the way.
What the fuck?
Yeah, kids are home during this. So they freak out, obviously, run screaming from the house because they hear shotgun blasts.
Yeah.
They claim
and
later
dad's
on
all over the living room.
Yeah, they claim later on that stepdad anyway, but they claim later on that also they heard some sort of scuffle from them in the kitchen beforehand. But like we said, who knows if she had the gun, and who knows how that went down. Anyway, they run. She walks outside calmly, gives the gun to a neighbor. Imagine you come out of your house, you hear a shotgun blast, you come out of your house. This is in like a nice neighborhood, San Diego. You come out of your house, you see this jacked up lunatic with a shotgun in her hand emerge from her front door like goddamn Arnold Schwarzenegger in the fucking Terminator. Holy hell, that's got to be frightening.
Here, hold this gun.
And then she goes, take this. And
I'll be back.
told them that Ray had been beating her, and she couldn't take it anymore, and she sat there waiting for the cops to come.
Wow.
I mean, that was that. She didn't run. She said, I'll sit here, I'll wait.
Wait.
So, I mean, she did go through guilty people run, that's true, but also she knows guilty people run, so this means nothing.
Yeah. That's insanity.
I mean...
She did this with her kids in the house.
Yeah. I
had
nuts.
no idea. That's amazing.
It's crazy. Excuse me. So we get to the investigation here. There's not much of an investigation. She says she shot him. They're just investigating whether, because she's saying he was attacking me at that moment, and I was in fear of my life when I shot him. And they're saying he was cooking chicken, and you came in and shot him. So they're
the Foster Farm on the counter,
and they're also saying he crawled away, not toward you.
Right.
And
he's trying to get away from you because he knoes how fucking crazy you are now.
Yeah.
He knows this shit's serious. He's missing half a liver.
Yeah, this is not just fight. This isn't a 70-pound barbell from the upper deck over here now anymore. No, she's got a shotgun with a pistol grip. She's going straight gangster on him.
Holy shit.
She's not fucking around, man.
Yeah.
So we get to basically the investigating officer, not the first officer to arrive, but the homicide detective, I assume, Sergeant
Guys
Thomas.
in suits with badges on the belt.
Guys with suits. Jerry Orbach comes into the room. Sergeant Thomas A. Busey, Busey, 2 S's, I'm going to assume it's Busey, says 10:40 p.m. Oceanside Police responded to 1802 South Tremont. That's the address if you guys want to go take a look at it.
Take a peek.
Make it the new whatever, Brentwood Drive or whatever.
Go ahead, Death Hunters.
Knock yourselves out there. That's it. It's in San Diego. Found McNeil. He was life flighted to Scripps Memorial Hospital in La Jolla. 2 hours of surgery, and he died.
Of course.
Now he did make statements.
Wow.
To them also. Yeah, he said what he said. You know why'd this happen? And one officer came in and told the other officer she's saying he beat her, and he was saying no while he was dying in a pool of blood. 5 different types of steroids found in Ray. Wow. One found in Sally, Deca, which is like what a lot of the ball players take. Yeah. It's Roger Clemens that got busted for. She took Deca. She said she did a tournament a year before, and that's what it was from, and it stays in your system 18 months is what she claims. I don't know. Well, I have no idea.
That seems fishy.
There's no way to tell.
18 months?
18, I mean, that might be true, but that doesn't say she didn't take it the day before, too.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ray's got 5, like he's training to run the Triple Crown or some shit.
Yeah.
He's a thoroughbred.
And so
that's amazing.
At this point, too, like her ex-husband is coming into the mix and telling about her history. All sorts of people are coming forward.
A bouncer's coming forward.
A bouncer's going.
Rabbit kicked him in the head.
She's got a hell of a good Jennifer Grey Ferris Bueller kick, let me tell you something. So the husband, Anthony Loudon, said, as sure as Ray lies dead, it could have been me. That was his quote on it. Like, he said, that, look, that's why he got away from it.
Right.
Trial begins 1 year later on February 14th, 1996. Isn't that weird?
Valentine's Day again.
Valentine's Day, right on the money.
Got a feeling she didn't have chicken that night.
Yeah, no. This is becoming a romantic day for her.
I bet she fucking hates Valentine's Day now.
Oh,
That's the worst day ever. Yeah.
Trials and shotguns, pump grip. I'm just tired of this. So the DA is Dan Goldstein. He stated that Sally planned the murder for insurance purposes, and that Ray was preparing to leave her, and she didn't want that to happen, and she was trying to control him. Obviously.
Well, he's gone now, Sally.
Yeah. Let's see here. The officer was one of the first responding officers. Officer Gary Schultz told Flex Magazine, yes, I was reading Flex Magazine, that Ray was on his hands and knees in a pool of blood, and Ray mumbled, "Why did you do this, oh God?" He was like, so it didn't seem like he was like, I didn't hit her that hard, oh God. It was, why? But once again, who knows? Let's see here. No blood or marks on Sally. No, like she wasn't bleeding from anywhere. She didn't get punched or no DNA, like I said.
She wasn't bleeding to death. She wasn't in a life or death situation.
Yeah. It's
it may have been a fight or flight, but not necessarily life or death.
No, that's the thing. That's what it is, and that's a lot of what happens here is because she's going to have experts, battered women syndrome experts, and this is the mid '90s too. This isn't now, so. Right. This is 20 years ago. This 1996. Right. This is 20 years ago.
Hitting women was a little more common.
It was just, I don't think battered women syndrome outside of like Lifetime movies or maybe something Farrah Fawcett did. We didn't really know. I don't think it was a common thing that everybody in the jury was like, oh yeah, sometimes people get beat for 10 years and then they kill the guy. That's normal. Like,
it's
I don't think they
behind
knew
closed
that.
doors kind of thing. It's not necessarily in the public eye.
So that was a little interesting thing. So the DA said, it was totally premeditated. She went back to reload. The shell casing was found in the bedroom, like we said.
He's got a solid case.
It sounds like it. She denied that she did it for money, said, and that she also denied that Ray was leaving. But then later on, she said that she was preparing to leave, so none of this makes any sense.
She should have never been near each other.
No, not at all.
Jesus Christ.
Now, she says that this later on, she says it was over makeup in a nightclub. Here, these two were a nightmare. This was a bad cocktail. This is just a bad cocktail altogether. Just not good.
Excuse me, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. But yeah, so she said that at this point, she's saying that it happened because she was tired of the affairs and finally admitted, but after being berated, she said, okay, yeah, he was going to leave me. So she's saying she was going to leave, but at the time she admitted at the trial that he was going to leave.
Right. Somebody's leaving, and that should have been the way this ended.
That someone should have, God, Jesus. The two people I wish could leave the most were those goddamn kids. Yeah. Get them out of there.
And where were they to be like, listen, you two fucking hate each other. Why are we going through this?
Good God, yes. We have more sense than you.
I'm trying to play Atari. Would you two shut the fuck up?
We need like a military strike unit that can just come and drop a line down and pull those kids right out through the roof of the house.
Sure.
Just gone. Get them out of there.
We're SEAL Team 6.
Take them to Afghanistan where it's safe. Safer than with these lunatics, for Christ's sake. So there's a 911 operator that testifies at trial that she heard moaning in the background of a man saying, "Why did you shoot me?" on the 911 call that she made. She responded with, quote, "I told you I wasn't taking your shit anymore." So that could mean anything. She didn't say, "I told you you couldn't beat me anymore." It could have been, "I told you you're not going to have affairs anymore." It could have been anything. But
I told you not to get white meat. I told you
I
like
told
the
you
thighs.
that to get Purdue and not Foster Farm. She's taking no shit anymore. Is what she's getting.
It's over.
We know that. Oh my goodness. She said she never used testosterone. Also, that was the thing. Only the Deca because she didn't want to have facial hair and all that.
And
she's
a penis.
like, later a penis. Later on in prison, she's like, I'd be a misfit in prison if I had to shave my face and I had male pattern baldness and a deep voice.
Male pattern baldness.
How much
That'd
of a
be
misfit
badass
really
though.
be. Yeah,
She's
she
in
looked tougher
Arizona,
then.
like weed whacking on the chain gang with a male pattern baldness.
Male pattern baldness and a
And her
big cock
balls.
bulge hanging out. So, big old cock bulge. So,
Why do those two words make me laugh so hard? Holy shit.
Oh, by the way, at trial, one of Ray's girlfriends testifies against her, saying that she was crazy. One of Ray's ex-girlfriends. Also, now here's where it gets super interesting. She claims that Ray was also homosexual.
Oh my God.
She claims he had many boyfriends.
Oh boy.
One of which lived with them for 2 years. Wow. To the point where, like, she thinks that the boyfriend was encouraging Ray to beat her.
The ex-wife thinks this?
Sally McNeil is living in the house with Ray, her 2 kids, and Ray's gay lover.
Right.
So, and she thinks that the gay lover is encouraging Ray to beat her, and she'll beg the guy for help. Hey, help me, he's beating me, and he's
like,
won't
no,
help her.
that shit's hot.
No, that's on you. I don't know what to tell you. So, yeah, she also, too, for 2 years, she said that when they were there alone, they would lock the kids out of the house.
Wow.
And she thinks they were having gay sex and didn't want the kids to interrupt them. I mean, who knows what the hell they were doing.
That's a crazy accusation.
She claims it was a lot of boyfriends, and one of these guys even testified at trial, and that was the guy who got kicked out. And she said that's why he testified against her, because he was mad at her for kicking him out.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. It says Ray's boyfriends made her out to be the bully in court. Said she wouldn't provoke a 260-pound bodybuilder. She also claims that Ray ran a 4.340, and she couldn't outrun him because he ran a 4.3.
Freight train.
He did not run.
There's no way he ran that. No.
4.340 is like a world-class wide receiver.
That's what.
runs a
Yeah.
4.340.
That's running backs run that. That's
They
ridiculous.
wish they run that. That's like wide receiver that you're like, shit, he can run, but I don't know if he can catch because he's that fast. Like,
but if he gets the ball, he's fucking gone.
Amari Cooper, the Raiders rookie, was like a sensation. He was like a 4.5.
Wow.
He's like a 4.5. Like, and this is
she
fast.
claims Ray's
She claims 260. She claims he's like Superman.
Right.
And he bursts through walls. And, it's insane. So anyway, he said, good God, they argued over that the boyfriend claimed that he saw her benching 255. She said, I can't bench 255. I can only bench 225, and that makes her innocent. Because she can only bench, I don't know. That was her big claim. Like,
this 30 pounds is the difference.
Yeah, I couldn't kill him if I couldn't bench 255.
You can bench 225, honey. You can pull the trigger of a Mossberg. I'll tell you that right now.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. It's incredible. It's so McNeil. Oh my God. So she gets convicted at this point.
Right.
Okay. Sally is convicted. Now this is only the beginning of this. She is convicted of murder. She is sentenced to a total of 19 years to life. Now, 15 of that was for the murder. 4 of that was for altering a firearm.
Yeah.
So they got her for that.
Got her in California.
They treated her like a black man in California. They got her on that little charge, too. So that's pretty funny. Judge Laura Haynes said, "You'll be an old woman when you get out of jail. Ray didn't deserve to die like that."
Wow.
So the judge, this woman was definitely on the Ray's side.
Absolutely.
She's sent to the Central California Women's Facility in Chowchilla, California. That's 40 miles outside of Fresno. I have some information for you if you'd like to write to her at some point. I have that information. I'll give you that in a little bit.
Chowchilla? Is that
Chowchilla.
what it is? Chowchilla.
I have
it's
the
up
address.
near Fresno in Northern California.
Rumor has it in the bodybuilding message board world, she will write you back, no problem.
How about that?
She'll give you bodybuilding tips and everything else.
I'm going to send a photo of her. I want it signed.
She'll sign it, I bet.
How great would that be?
But this is when the case gets interesting. It's not over by a long shot.
Yeah.
Okay. At this point,
but I'm sending it to your fucking house. I'm not giving her my address.
Well, yeah, your wife is going to kill you. You can send it to my apartment. No one will care. So, at this point, she's convicted. She's sent away. Now, there was a problem with this. Now, she was allowed to present the self-defense argument, which would be saying it was manslaughter, not murder.
Right.
She was allowed to present that defense at trial, but the judge erroneously instructed the jury that it was a wording thing because it was a case that altered this case law a couple of years before that. Gotcha. I dug in. I read legal briefs you have no idea. I've read the actual like legalese court things
Right.
trying to follow this, and it's insanity. So she erroneously told the jury that they could not consider this
All right.
in their judgment
deliberation, right.
for one thing, though. It wasn't for the... Anyway, she gets convicted. This is her big thing. She's now filed an appeal. She files an appeal for this in 96.
On the contingency
in
that she should have
97.
been convicted of manslaughter instead of murder.
Exactly.
Right.
And then at that point, she's thinking, because she does an interview that I found from like 96, 97 in jail, where she's saying... She is talking about, I'm getting out of here. She's talking about her plan. She's
I'm
like,
going to get time served, and I'm going to go right back home.
that's exactly right. She said,
Holy
I'm going to get that thrown out. It's going to be manslaughter, time served, boom, boom, boom. So it's
Wow.
And we'll get to this interview because there's some funny stuff in this interview.
love
It's really good. I really enjoy. She's now, by the way, she's in prison. She said there's no weightlifting equipment. They took it away in 97 when the criminals started getting
probably for the best.
too jacked for the guards. So she's doing like dips and like push-ups and pull-ups and shit, trying to do that.
gravity weight.
Said she was at 175 when she went in, and she's down to 135 now.
5'3", 130.
5'3", 130.
Wow.
And she's,
She's dainty.
thick, whatever. She says the whole thing was a double standard, obviously. This is what she says in prison. Now, this is funny. This was when she was in prison in like 97 when she was hopeful of an appeal. And she is delusional in these
Are we
quotes.
firing up the music?
This is going to be in their own
love
words,
it.
Jimmy. Yeah, we got a couple in their own words here.
I love it.
So here's Sally McNeil from prison, looking forward to possibly getting released for time served, okay? I'm planning to box when I get out. I'll try to bulk up to 170 of solid muscle. We'll see how I can put the weight back on. I want to box the big names. I hope I don't sound crazy. I think I'd become a very good draw, especially if I use my maiden name, Dempsey, like the famous boxer.
No, we had no idea, Sally.
Oh, wow. She is crazy.
She is fantastic.
Then
I'm going to box the big names.
I'm gonna box
Muhammad Ali.
I think I'm going to do it. I'm gonna the
box
big
Mike
names
Tyson.
of female boxing in 1995.
I'm going to box Layla Ali.
Yeah, I'm going to box. Layla Ali was like 14 then, probably. I don't think Layla Ali could have boxed her at all. I'm going to beat the shit out of Muhammad Ali's teenage daughter. That's what I'm going to do when I get out of here. I'm going to shoot her with a pump-handle shotgun.
They do death matches? I'll box Layla in a man's garage.
Here's another. I can do it. Make apartment videos, and I'll sit on her face. Somebody can film it, then jerk off to it later.
Speed bag her balls.
So she says, in another quote from this interview, she says, I believe my running and exercise in here have left me looking younger than I really am. My friends in here call me Mustang Sally because I run fast. When I run in the walkathon, they call me the Golden Girl. She just thinks she's just cute stuff in there. Imagine her strutting around prison. I'm the Golden Girl.
I hope she has Mustang Sally prison tattooed on her chest.
Sally. So
She's got like the Mustang logo from a Ford Mustang tattooed on her chest.
yeah, it's
On her fucking neck.
oh my god, that's so funny. She also says, let's see here, one more quote from Sally here. So why was it against the law to protect myself from Ray? I felt awful for what I did, but the prosecution took advantage of my misconstrued feelings of being a horrible person. I was just in shock. How dare they want to
You were in shock. I'm
twice.
in fucking shock.
Ray was probably surprised.
I'll bet Ray was in shock. After the first shot, I'm sure he was very shocked.
He had some shock. This is the other thing I love that she said here. One more from this old interview, and then later on there's a couple more from modern day Sally. But this is still delusional pre-appeal Sally. If the cops had shot and killed Ray, the outcome would have been justifiable homicide because Ray had 5 different types of steroids in his system at the time. It's just a double standard.
Maybe you should have went to the academy, Sally.
Maybe because you're not a cop, eh? That's probably one of the things that makes a difference in that, I would assume. So, anyway, let's get into the technicality of the legal thing here. For Sally's self-defense, she had to show, this is a legal term that I had to figure out here, she had to show that she was motivated by, quote, an actual genuine belief or perception that she was in imminent danger of death or great bodily injury from an unlawful attack or threat by the victim, and the defendant's acts were necessary to prevent the injury. That's the basic thing. She had to it had to
That's
be
the mitigating factor.
Yeah,
right.
he is going to fuck me up now
Right.
if I don't strike back.
Right. And I'm sure that would have been fairly easy to prove, going with the past facts and past events.
Yeah.
But that bottle of Chardonnay on the counter and that box of chocolates and that chicken
It's
cooking
not good. So yeah,
shows
we got
he had a
problems
different
here.
intent, sugar.
He was just like, I gotta eat some chicken because I need my protein because
right.
I got this competition in 4 days.
I just worked out for the past 3 hours. I
He's
need
probably-
rebound
yeah,
protein.
And I had some gay sex and things. I've had a busy night. Get away from me. So, also the prosecutor Goldstein at this point said the defendant is anything but a battered wife. She's one of the most violent persons I've ever prosecuted, which by her record, she kind of is pretty violent.
She's one of the most violent women I've ever heard of in my life.
Battered or not, that's the thing. We don't know.
Right.
If maybe she did fear for, like, I can't judge that. All I know is she did fucking shoot this guy,
Right.
and she was a crazy nutcase first.
And long
So,
before she
I
did
don't
this,
know.
she called herself Killer Sally.
Killer Sally, and she was pulling guns on her ex-husband
Right.
and bashing his... I'm sorry.
70-pound fucking barbell. She's a lunatic.
Yes, well, if a man pulled a gun on a woman and bashed in all her car windows with a
Yeah.
crowbar, that would be considered serious, like, escalation of violence to going to kill soon.
And
You
she
know what
killed
I mean?
a man on the most romantic day of the
Oh,
year.
that was romantic. I gotta say, that's sweet. Now, at this point, the appeals are going on. She has an appeal. Her appeal does well. First of all, the Ninth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals ruled in 2004 that she was not properly allowed to argue the death was manslaughter. So this is going to move it along to possibly get a new trial out of this, to possibly end up with time served. This is her plan. But the California authorities appealed to the Supreme Court, which they ruled without hearing any arguments. They didn't want to hear shit from any of these people. Not interested. They said, although the jury had technically incorrect instructions, the prosecutor and judge resolved any confusion, and it wasn't worthy of that. So Sally appeal is fucked at that point.
Sorry, Sally.
Sorry, Sally. Yeah, they think that the wounds on her neck were self-inflicted, too. That's another thing now. So she's sitting in jail at this point, and there's people I feel sorry for.
Yeah.
There's 4 people I feel sorry
Couple of
for.
kids,
in this.
for sure.
The kids, let's start with them.
Yeah.
Not Ray, not Sally.
No.
The kids, let's start for sure. And also, a woman I found on LinkedIn named Sally McNeil. She's an office manager at Expressworks International LLC in Houston. It's an oil and energy company.
That poor lady.
This poor lady, if you Google search Sally McNeil, if you go a little deep, second page or so, you're going to get her.
Right away.
And you're going to go, is she out?
Is she out?
Is
Is
she
she
an office
selling
manager
shit?
at Expressworks International LLC in Houston? What the fuck happened?
Sally.
Poor Sally. And I also feel bad for a retired math teacher that I found on ratemyteacher.com named Sally McNeil. She's a retired math teacher in Northview High School in Duluth, Georgia. But I kind of don't feel sorry for her because listen to this review, and none of them were positive. This was the best one I found. McNeil is the worst math teacher I've ever had, and she is so boring, and I can't believe they still allow her to teach. And that was 6/28/06. At least she didn't shoot you with a shotgun,
Yeah.
kid.
Is that
With a gun
a
gun.
high school? Is that what you said?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Duluth, Georgia. She's a math teacher, so nobody likes her. She's
None of
a
those kids
total
even
bitch.
know who Killer Sally is, but
No. So she had a failed parole hearing
Oh, boy.
in November of 2013. That was her first shot at parole, and that didn't work out, which they normally don't release someone who with that kind of...
Yeah.
They're just going to, let's just see how you
Maybe
react
next
a little more
time.
in jail. So she's hoping for another one here coming up, I think in the summer possibly. She's got one
This year?
more. I believe so. She's got one.
Wow.
Don't quote me on that. That's not possible. That's not... Whatever. I love the 4-year term for firearm enhancement. That's one of my favorite goddamn things in the world. So we have, at this point, she's in jail, and now she's a little different. She's a little more reflective, Sally McNeil. She's in jail. I have some quotes for her, from her, which are interesting. The first one, let's fire them up in their own words here. This is. She's talking about what she can do when she gets out. She says, I can also make wrestling videos about my experience in here, and I'll do well at that. Sky's the limit on what I can do.
she's so positive.
Sky's the limit. Things are going well. Another one, this one she gets political, which I love this a lot. She gets this is good. This is like Lawrence Phillips talking about talking shit from prison here in their own words. In California, it's very, very hard to be granted a parole date. The politicians use us as political pawns to show the public that they're tough on crime so they can get reelected. There is no self-defense law in California. Yes, there is, by the way. Not like other states. If I was living in Texas or Pennsylvania, I would not have received a murder sentence. I took Ray's life, and I know I deserve to do prison time. Okay, schizophrenic, first of all. What? Second of all, if you were in Texas, you could have shot a retarded kid on your front lawn for no reason on Halloween, and that's legal there, but that's Texas, for Christ's sake. What are you talking about?
He was black. I could have done it in Texas for sure.
I could have done it in Texas for sure. So basically, and now we have her quote, and this is her now looking forward. This is Sally really putting it up. This is what you're going to get out of Sally McNeil when she gets out of jail, folks. Let's see here. My goals in life, for now, are focused on gaining my freedom and being reunited with my family. I will be too old to compete when I get out. I am not too old to stay in shape, though. I can train people. I have my mind, so I can teach people. I can teach them how to wrestle and make good wrestling videos.
She's sticking with the videos,
What wrestling videos is she making? We have porno now on demand. This isn't 1996.
There's no VHS, Sally. Nobody's looking for that.
Nobody needs to put a VHS cam up to some muscly broad sitting on some douchebag's face in an apartment.
This is a woman that hasn't seen the WWE now, or WWF, whatever the hell it's called now.
No.
She hasn't seen what Jim McMahon has done to wrestling.
Vince McMahon. Jim McMahon.
Jesus Christ.
Jim McMahon
was a quarterback for the Bears.
Jim McMahon and Walter Payton has done great things.
Vince McMahon has done amazing things for wrestling, and she has no idea.
Ironically enough, Steve McMichael actually did he actually was a wrestler from that team. But so you have that. So Sally McNeil at this point.
Jim McMahon.
Jim McMahon has brought it to new heights. Let me tell you something. So Sally, right now, if you'd like to get a hold of Sally, I said, she will answer you back. Sally will talk to people. Sally will give you workout advice. Sally is a nice lady, apparently now.
Give you tips on growing tomatoes.
She's also bored. Yes, she's got a lot of tips on that. You can write to her at Sally McNeil. That's McNeil, 1 L. Now there's a pound sign, hashtag, you want to call it whatever. Pound sign number. W62688, comma, V as in Victor, period, S as in Sam, period, P as in Peter, period, W as in workshop, period, comma, D as in David, 2-7-3, V as in Victor, I'm sorry, not V as in U as in up, and P as in the second letter of up. P.O. Box 92, Chowchilla, California, 93610-0092. That is Sally's digits.
That's a real address.
That is a real fucking address. Make that up. Why make it up?
How could you?
How could you? I'm on page 9 of Google trying to find this shit. I'm reading Muscle Magazine with, sifting through old Joe Piscopo covers looking for Sally McNeil.
Her goddamn address.
So if you're really intrigued by Sally, drop Sally a line.
Oh, God, and forward that shit to our inbox when you get it.
If you do, yes, that's the other thing. If you're going to correspond with Sally and you're going to do it in some sort of sarcastic manner, please talk to us.
If you're playing pranks on her, send it.
Include us, because we hooked you up with this shit. You would have known nothing about this lady.
We're your wingmen, and we want to know all about it.
We need to know this stuff. We're helping you. You help us. We'll tell you about the stuff. You find out about guys named Ray being psychos, and then we're good. You tell us about it. We'll investigate lunatic athletes
and send her something about Valentine's Day. Send her Valentine's Day card.
We should all send Sally like the ones from school, you give everybody in their little mailbox.
The wrestling themed ones.
Yeah, wrestling themed. Yes, we should.
I'm gonna send her some Jim McMahon ones.
Some Jim McMahon ones. You should really send that. That'd be perfect.
Maybe some Ed McMahon ones too.
Ooh.
Every McMahon I can find, I'm sending
them. Ed McMahon. One time, Publishers Clearinghouse sent in. You get the big manila envelopes, and in it was an 8x10 of Ed McMahon. It was a headshot.
I love it so much.
So I threw out the envelope, kept the headshot, put it on my wall, and people would be like, "Why the fuck do you have Ed McMahon's headshot?"
Because he sent it to me.
Because he sent it to me. That's why. If I ever meet him, that bad boy's getting an autograph. Fortunately, I never met Ed McMahon. I think he's dead. By the way, as we're recording this today, Gary Shandling died. And that's a bummer to all of us. Anybody in the comedy world knows that's just a huge bummer.
The worst.
Larry Sanders Show is the best, and we're going to miss the Larry Sanders. Since we're talking about the 90s with Sally McNeil, Larry Sanders Show was great. Sally McNeil would have been a great guest on the show. Absolutely. I would have loved to have seen Hank banter with Sally McNeil and her then put him in a headlock and crush him.
Hey, now.
Another thing, too, with Sally that I find amusing is she says she can't fight in prison because she doesn't, want to blow her
lengthen
parole.
her time.
And she said everybody wanted to fight her when she first got there because she was jacked up and tough, and they were like, we're going to beat her.
Because she's the biggest dude on the yard.
Yeah. And then she was like, there's like 260-pound girls trying to fight me, and I'm not even allowed to fight back, and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, she was complaining about that she wanted to kick some ass.
I can't even fight in here. This is bullshit.
I've been fighting Ray. Have you seen Ray?
My sparring partner is 3 times the size of you. I will fuck you up.
And it took 3 cops to get me out of a car. You understand that? They maced me in my own home. My own home. I was just in my living room and they had to mace me.
I killed that motherfucker in front of my kids. I'm not scared of you.
Over chicken. I will take you down.
Over the fucking marinade.
You're going down. Said I wanted Caribbean jerk, goddammit. Not that tequila
lemon
lime
pepper
bullshit.
shit.
Asshole, right?
There's a lot of different kinds of marinade. That was
we
good.
threw out some marinades. That shows how really...
How much we cook.
How much that's sad that we know our marinades.
It's disgusting.
We're pathetic. So anyway, that's Sally McNeil.
There she is.
In a nutshell. We hope you like Sally McNeil because we really liked her. Look up her pictures also. We'll post them on our social media. And because they're really fun to see her pictures. Because she was, I mean, it's incredible. Like, you don't, what it takes for people to be like that, I just can't understand. Their whole life has to revolve around. They got in a fight because he said, your shoulders aren't developed enough. I mean, that's nuts. Imagine that.
So, they spent so much time involved in bodybuilding and whatever cycles they're doing.
Oh, God, who knows?
Just so, anything that you spend your life doing like that, you don't have time for anything else. That's insane to me.
With all this traveling too, where the hell were these kids? What's going on?
That's a good point.
God,
they're in Europe.
It's scary. Yeah, they're in Europe.
Unfit parents.
Unfit parents going around with the kids at the train. He was flying. She was taking trains. Kids were taking like buses behind her. How the fuck did that?
Kids are at home with a 12 gauge in the house. For Pete's sake,
they are.
Yeah.
Well,
completely unsafe.
Now on the plus side, at least there's shells there also in case they want to partake and pick up the old pistol grip shotgun and start firing away at the neighbors. That neighbor, boy, that's who I want to interview.
Yeah.
Because that neighbor had to have heard crazy shit coming from next door between these
for years.
two. And then all of a sudden you see Sally emerge with the shotgun like Sylvester Stallone
She's
and
5'3".
Cobra.
She's a fucking rectangle.
5'3",
She's short and wide.
And stocky.
Yeah.
Shoulders, not that developed, I'll be honest with you. That's not, But the rest of her jacked
hips and
up.
thighs
Jacked.
and shit.
Jacked.
She's all thigh.
Shoulders, I mean, so underdeveloped. I could throw a beating on her, Jimmy, just for looking at her, because I'm like, look at those shoulders. I just want to beat her. I don't understand it. Shit, now I get it, Ray. No, so poor Ray, poor Sally, poor kids, poor math teacher Sally,
but
poor
lucky you, we get to talk about
office manager of Express Works LLC in Houston, Texas, oil and energy company. You poor lady. I'm sorry if I guarantee Sally McNeil, office manager in Houston, Texas. If you somehow, by the miracle of numbers, actually listen to this podcast, if you ever hear it, please tell us if people email you and get on your LinkedIn and shit and go, are you the one that shot your husband in the face?
How many times has 60 Minutes contacted you?
Yeah, how much steroids were you on? Tell us, because that would be amazing. I should have contacted Sally McNeil. I didn't go deep enough, Jimmy. I should have contacted not the prison Sally McNeil, office manager.
We hit this too early.
I hit it too early.
We needed one more day.
Damn it! I really should have got on that. I'm a failure. I'm sorry we failed you. Jimmy and I apologize profusely from the bottoms of our heart.
But next week, tune back in and we'll do our best to
I'll
make it
have
up to you.
I'll have an update. Also, bother that poor Sally McNeil lady and ask her, because I want Sally McNeil, the office manager, to then let's have a weird little chain of things. Yeah. You bother her, and then she tells, and then you tell her about it, and it'll be fun.
And then get that teacher too, and tell her she's a shit teacher.
Yeah. Hey, you suck. You're boring, and I can't believe they still allow you to teach.
Why are you teaching math anyway? You should be teaching gym.
Yeah, I'm going to put that in their own words music also, I think, just because that kid sounded very angsty. I'll give him a different tune. Angsty, shitty, rate my teacher kid.
I love it.
Thank you so much. We're gonna be coming at you with more stuff here, like we said, every week, Tuesdays, Tune in. New athletes every week. We have so many lined up.
It's so fun.
It never ends, guys. This isn't like this isn't like a 3-month project.
Right.
We're going to do this basically until one of us drops dead. Probably me at a laptop with index cards full of information about people. So we're going to keep doing this forever. So get on board. Tell all your friends. Crime and Sports Movement. Tell them about it. Live from the Crime and Sports Studios. Follow us on social media. Jimmy.
I'm at Whisman Sucks on Twitter and Instagram, and Jimmy Whisman, Whisman.
And I am at Jimmy P is Funny on Twitter, and you can find me on Facebook and all that. You'll follow links, follow us on social media. We gave you all that stuff up top. Not going to bother you with that again. Please just tell your friends, though. Rate and review on iTunes. Thank you so much. Tune in next week when we will have another scumbag that's just primo sitting there on a tee waiting for us to bat toward you guys to shag in the outfield. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey. Everyone out there should listen to Small Town Murder. Yeah. You really should, mainly because you never know who's next door. Oh. And that's the point of this show, really. You never know who is next door. You never know what's going to happen on Small Town Murder. That's what makes it so wonderful. The only thing you do know is that people are going to die, and we're probably going to make jokes about it. That's it. That's all we can promise you. We dig into these towns. We see what makes them tick, from local legends to scandals they may have had. And, of course, the biggest scandals of all, horrible murders that take place there. And we put our, what I feel is a completely appropriate comedic spin on the whole thing. And you know you need a laugh right now. So get in there, listen to Small Town Murder, follow Small Town Murder on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Small Town Murder early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.